Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Build Exclusively with Antonio T. Smith Jr. Glad to have each and every one of you on the call on today. Today is July 5th, 2023, as of this recording. Hope everyone enjoyed their holiday. If you celebrate the holiday, if you don't, hope you had a good day off. If you had a day off, you know. And so we're back and glad about it and excited to hear about what is going to transpire on today. So without further ado, all the way from Galveston, Texas, this young lady has lots of energy and care bearness, okay? And she loves helping people with her creativity, and I love seeing it shine all about her. Without further ado, Miss Deanna Marie. Ooh. All right. When I see her face on the screen, we'll come back. So, hope everyone again had a good holiday. What is it that we've been working on? What is it that you've been learning? I know Miss Tracy had a great webinar. It was really good. And you're very welcome, Miss Adelia. Miss Tracy had a great webinar, and I don't know if y'all have been noticing, but on Facebook, she has broken up. Okay, on the webinar. Okay, she has 7 key challenges. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, she has 7 key challenges on the webinar, but she's breaking them up day by day and has been putting out a video and some notes about it on Facebook. She may have put it on other platforms as well, but I've noticed it on Facebook, and I said, okay, Tracy, I see you. Been doing your thing, okay? All right. So congratulations. The last one I saw was key number 2. So I'm pretty sure we'll see key number 3 on today. All right. Without further ado, Miss Deanna Marie.
All right. So I got my notes together. We got a lot to talk about today. A lot to talk about because I'm going to introduce something that I'm working on to everyone. And then we're going to use what Antonio has been teaching, the 4 types of customers. And I'm going to give you guys some ideas that I have. And yes, ma'am. And I would love for you guys to help me build it. But there's a huge stipulation on this. I would really love for all of you to also, whatever we talk about, make notes and apply it to what you're doing, because we're all going to need to know how to reach the seekers, the believers, the workers, the disciples. How do we approach them? How do we reach them? What do we need to do? What do we need to put in place for that? So that's what we're going to do today. But before we do that, I'm going to repeat this again, but what we would like to do is we would like to raise $85 for the prisoners, and Antonio and I are going to match that. The reason being is the prisoners, you've heard Antonio talk about his dad, and they're in what's called the faith-based dorm. Well, being in the faith-based dorm, there are certain requirements that the faith-based dorm has to have in place because of the type of dorm that they are. And so what they have been doing, and Mr. Antonio is also part of this, is they now have a council. Now, we all know how people are, when you go into something and they're restructuring, they're redesigning, rules are put into place, or some people have been there longer than others. Okay, but these rules, they bother me, this, and that, and that. Well, with the council, what the council is doing is they're helping solve problems. They're helping make people more comfortable. They're answering questions. They're guiding others as far as the faith-based dorm goes in the direction of the faith-based dorm. They're helping them. It's not accumulate. It's not acronate. What is the word I'm looking for, y'all? Not
assimilate.
Assimilate. Thank you.
Acclimate.
Thank you. Assimilate, acclimate, both of those. See, I was around. I had the A in there. I had the A part. Assimilate, acclimate into the faith-based dorm. So they're doing that as well. So within this council, they're doing their mission statement, they're doing the bylaws and things like that, but they also want to make sure that they also want to make sure that they reach the prisoners. They want to, show good face with the prisoners. They want to be able to let them know we're not here to force rules upon you, but to help you. And so one of the things that we want to do is we want to give the inmates a party, because first off, it took them months to even get to the council being together. And as with people, there's always bumps and bruises, clashes. So what we want is to help the council acclimate into the dorm better. We want to help the council. We want to help them throw a party, help them, you know, commune with uh, the other people that live in the dorm. So, Grace, if you can put in the Cash App. So we're looking to raise $85 total, and then Antonio and I are going to meet that so that we can give the council food. I'm trying to see. Okay, we've all started new jobs before. We've all had new managers before. It gives a good look when you commune and have a community with the employees, get to learn them, let them get to learn you. So that's what we want to help them do. I will announce this again later on, but I wanted to drop that seed for everyone, because they're really working hard. There's a lot on in the faith-based dorm, and the sole purpose of the council is to help. There's complaints going to the warden about things happening. There's complaints going to the chaplain about things happening, because it's faith-based dorm. It's a faith-based dorm, so there's a lot going on. So the council is built of four people. Four people elected by those within the dorm itself, and then an additional person that the warden himself put in place to be on council. So you have representatives that have been selected. Thank you for the person who just private messaged me. Thank you very much. So you have the one-on-one direct contact with the warden, and then you have the council who will have the one-on-one direct contact with the chaplain. And the council's job is to help work through the issues, work through the problems in the faith-based dorm as a community. They have been able to really help with that, because it's a council of their peers, a council of the men that they trust, a council of the men that they go to for counsel already. And the issues within there, you have some that are in the faith-based dorm who are there not because of faith, but just because it's a calmer dorm. So they're used to the issues of the other dorms. They're used to the rules of the other dorms, but being in a faith-based dorm, there's an agreement that they have to sign before they actually come into it. That's given to them by the warden and the chaplain. So they have no choice but to sign it. But a lot of the things in there, a lot of them are like, well, we don't do this. Like, we don't have to do this. This is not what happens in this dorm. So the council is there to help acclimate them into the faith-based dorm, to have the small groups that Antonio has talked about. So we just want to help the council celebrate and be in community and commune with the prisoners now, that because they just did this last week. They solidified the council and the members last week. And now they're doing their bylaws, and and it's a faith-based dorm. So the bylaws are Bible-based. So there's a lot that they're doing. there's a lot that they're doing to really just make sure that the faith-based dorm really flourishes. You know, there's members in the faith-based dorm who now they are certified ministers. Like they've been going through what it's called, the To Me course. You've heard Antonio talk about it. And you know, we were just at their graduation a couple of weekends ago. I mean, absolutely wonderful. We got to sit in fellowship in an unstructured environment for them. You know, we actually got to sit and commune and fellowship. You know, we got to put names with faces. And we want the council to be able to sit in fellowship just like that with the other members within the dorm. So again, we are asking, we want to raise 85 total, and then we're going to match that so we can send them the money so they can get the food and have the party and everything. So I want to thank you all for those who've already given. And I'll go over it again later for those who may have who log on later. But thank you all. For those of you who have given, thank you all so much. They're going to absolutely love this. They're going to wonderfully appreciate it. The one thing that I've recognized, learned when it comes to those who are incarcerated is that the level of appreciation that they have for the things that they receive is absolutely, like, they have more gratitude. They have more appreciation for things than we do. And it just amazes me how they are more, I'm gonna say this, I may get canceled, I don't know, but they are Christians more than those out here, more than those who attend church 7 days a week, more than, like, they literally walk the Christ walk. Is it easy? No. Do they have the same issues we do? Yes, they do. Because trust and believe, when I tell y'all, I've heard some things. When I tell y'all they go through things, they have the extremists just like we do out here. But even in the energy of the extremists, they're extreme about the Bible. Their gratitude is unbelievable. Like, I saw grown men cry because of the excitement and the gratitude and the love and the appreciation just to be able to take the class itself, because it's an invitation only class. And now with the faith-based dorm, it allows different faiths to come together. Like, there is not just one faith within the faith-based dorm. So this council is allowing them to be able to work amongst themselves, to be able to commune with each other, to be able to talk to each other, to be able to work out the issues amongst each other, to be able to say, okay, yes, these are the principles that we are living by, but are your motives correct when you're trying to push these agendas, across? So far we have $50. So thank you for those who have given. We're super excited. Again, we're looking to get to 85, and Antonio and I will match that. So thank you all so very much for that. And again, I'll announce it again. I'll announce it again a little further in. But thank y'all so much. Yay. They're going to be so excited. So excited. All right. Today, what are we going to talk about today? I'm super excited. So first I want to review, because I want to make sure I'm on the same page with you guys. You guys are on the same page with me. So who remembers what the seekers are? Well, okay, first, before we do that, as you see, Antonio's screen is on. I don't think he connected his audio. He may have. Oh, no, he can hear
It is very much connected.
Oh, okay.
It's very much connected.
So I'm teaching this morning because Antonio is working on a huge project with blockchain. So he's here. He's here, but he's gonna be quiet. He's just a fly on the wall today. So it's me and y'all.
Sure.
So it's me and y'all. It's me and y'all. He's what he's working on is absolutely awesome. I'm super proud and excited about what he's working on. This is a huge project in blockchain. Yeah, he sent me something and I looked at it. I was like, no, that's all you. He's like, if you would like to learn, no, nope, I'm good. I'm good. That's all you. That's all you, bro. That's all you. I will sit back and watch you and bask in the glory of the wonderfulness of you. That one is all you. So have fun. So he's doing that. So he's a fly on the wall, like he was when he was working on Rhino Lit, which he still is working. It's actually what he's working on is. Hold on, I got my notes on. I have to turn my fan off because I have like written out notes and stuff because I'm gonna take notes while I'm talking to y'all. I have like 3 different forms here.
Y'all pray for her, okay? Y'all pray
Yeah.
for her. All right.
Because as Antonio and I was working this weekend, I was just jotting stuff down. And then the notes from the class, like as you see my notes, they kind of small in some spots, and I got it on the back. I still can't write stuff out on Rome. I do. Because I don't know, when I write it, it sticks. When I type it, it's just there. But when I write it, it sticks. So we're going to talk about, I'm going to merge. So we're going to talk about small groups for your seekers and your believers and your worker. We're going to talk about a project that I have coming up. It's a 3-book project. So my 3-book project is to me what Pathbender is to Antonio. So that's why I need y'all's help, because y'all are going to tell me, this is what we're going to do. So what we're talking about today is building for your 4 types of customers. Because everything we're going to talk about, this is not just for me. Like, I want everyone to understand. We're talking about what I'm building, but we're going to apply it to what you're building, because we now understand we're all going to have seekers. How do we reach these seekers? We're all going to have believers. How do we engage and keep these believers engaged? We're all going to have workers. How do we keep our workers engaged? And then our disciples, how are we going to feed our disciples so they can go out into the world? Now, the disciples, that scare me because, my crazy tail be like, man, I hope I taught y'all the right stuff. Don't go out there and do nothing crazy. So let's start off with a quick review. Who remembers the seekers?
Deanna,
Yes, sir, Uncle Ramiro.
before you get started,
Yes.
can I share something
Please.
with everybody?
Absolutely.
But it goes along with the class today.
Come on, Uncle Ramiro.
So I just thought about saying, why don't you share that, Jerome? This is from a friend of mine who I have not seen since before COVID. Took her out to lunch 2 weeks ago, a month ago, 3 weeks ago. And when I showed her my book, she says, well, how you marketing it? And blah, blah. I said, I really haven't. My friend in Texas, he's working on my website, blah, 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 like that. She said, you got to get that done. Then I talked to Melissa, who punched me in my face. Okay. Yes, she did.
She did.
And I said, oh, it's like that. She said, yeah, just like that. Hello. And I said, all right, then. So boom. So I told my friend that once I talk to my publisher, I'm gonna get back with her because she wants to help me with my books. Right? So she responded back before I said anything. And I said, I'm working with the publisher right now. As soon as I get her information, we'll sit down and talk. Well, she goes ahead and sends me this note this past week.
Uh-oh.
She said, hey, Jerome, hope all is well. I have a question for you since you've done some speaking / teaching. What are your 3/5 tips you advise when prepping and teaching? And I said, where the hell did this come from? So, of course, y'all know I've been busy with my death in my family and going to sit my operations and all that other kind of crazy stuff that I'm doing. And then later on the evening, I sat down and this is what I wrote. Okay.
All right.
I said, and I hope I do Antonio proud. Okay. And you too, Deanna. And I said, here are a few pointers. A, try and find out who your audience is and how much time you have to speak. B, know and or research your subject matter. C, whether teaching or speaking, find a way to immediately connect with your audience. You have to give them a reason to want to listen to you. You have to get their attention. D, establish a rapport with your audience. Always be reading the crowd and catering to their needs. E, leave them with something that blows them away or with something that will make them want to see you again. F, always be reading the room. G, remember, you're the expert. Don't worry if you make a mistake. In most cases, they don't know. H, relax and be you.
Come on, Uncle Romy Rome. Yes, sir.
And that was off the top of my head. I was like,
No, you killed that. I heard a combination of some Canochin and some Antonio up in that one.
so I just wanted to share that because that so touched me, especially with the classes we've been having. And then she came out of nowhere and I went, wait a minute. And then I said, Jerome, ain't you been listening? Yeah. Haven't you been doing some of this? Yeah. Well, then share a little bit of, because she's going to help me with my marketing. And I'm like, okay, well, let me throw a little bit on her. So I just wanted to share that with the class before you got started, Deanna.
No, thank you for sharing. Thank you. Thank you. Come on, Uncle Roman Rome.
Good job, brother.
Not a
Good
professional
job.
speaker.
He didn't even put chat in there. He did that all by himself.
Yes,
Show
he
off.
did.
Good job.
I love it. I love it so much. So guess what? I'm gonna take Uncle Roman Rome's last piece of advice. I'm gonna be myself. So y'all, this is what we doing, okay? This is what we doing. Seekers. When Antonio started this entire, first off, thank you, Tracy, because Antonio started doing this because of Tracy. So thank you, Tracy, because my brand has shifted. When I first reached out to Antonio, I was in music. I was in the music industry. Music. I was a music artist manager, and my niche was new artists. The artist development was my niche. Now y'all know good and damn well ain't no damn money in artist development. You spend money. You don't make money, okay? And then you run across the artists with these inflated egos and you like, okay, dude, I get it. Your stuff is hot, but don't nobody know who you are. Don't nobody know who you are, bruh. So can you help me out with this? You gonna have to do some legwork. You gonna have to sell some tickets. I'm your manager. I'm not your salesperson. You supposed to have a team. Go get your team working. You got a whole crew. Where your crew at? And then it went from that to Antonio was like, that's not the industry to make money in. And I fought him tooth and nail because y'all know how we get. Y'all know how we get. We'd be like, but this is my desire. This is my dream. I want to change the music industry. I learned so much in the music industry. Not that bit of it was about music. Okay, let me tell you something. My internship was the greatest thing that ever happened to me because I saw the background of it. And I was like, I don't do this. And Antonio was like, you're not going to make no money in it. And he's like, well, what you actually do for your artist development is PR. So instead of focusing just on music, shift it to business. So that's when my brand shifted for the first time. That's when it shifted. It shifted from music to PR. And I was like, I really don't know too much about PR. I don't like PR, this and this and that and that. I was doing the work, but I was like, I don't want to do this. And then he was like, well, what about he was like, well, PR is the same. It's not the same as marketing, but why don't you try this? Because you're good at this. You have, you're in the music world, you had to market the artist. So why don't you do this here? And I got into it, and I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I loved it. I loved marketing because there was so much about it and I learned so much. And I always had questions when it came to marketing, like the psychology of marketing, like then I learned, with marketing, all they know how to do is manipulate the customers. That's all marketing does, is manipulate your customers to buying from you. And then I was learning sales and business at the same time. So as I was putting them all together, I'm like, wait a minute. Because I wasn't actively working on my business, but I was learning all of the stuff I needed to learn. And then it shifted. And then somewhere in the middle of all that, my brand just was like non-existent, because I was going through a shift. So everything outside of me was shifting. I actually got to a point I didn't know what I wanted to do. And everything accumulated, like all the knowledge and everything accumulated over time, like from the lead magnets. Like when I tell y'all, in learning and creating your avatars, creating your perfect customers, and then taking those perfect customers, both your man and your woman, and creating the lead magnets from that. And then from those lead magnets, you put those out, but then what do you bring them back to? And while your lead magnets are great, my focus was always on putting out lead magnets for people to buy stuff. So, okay, 99 cents. Okay, this is free just to draw you back in. If I put something out there for free, what am I drawing you back in? So let me put something out there for you to pay for, but you don't know who the hell I am. So why would you buy from me? Like, there was a lot going on. And then Antonio started breaking down the 4 types of customers. Like when we learned about the personality types, the lion, the tiger, not the tiger, I'm sorry. Yellow brick road. Lions, tigers, bears. Oh my. The lions, the koalas, the owls, and the monkeys. That excited me because I'm like, oh snap. So if I only focus on these personality types, I'm good, because da 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 da. And then I learned about the red, yellow, blue, green. But the monkey, the kid in me, monkey, lion. I read that entire thing. But a part of me was like, but how do I draw them in? Like, where do I start? And when Antonio started on this section, thank you, Tracy, with seekers, believers, workers, disciples. This is not the first time he talked about it, but this is the first time it triggered for me, because this was the first time I've been serious about my brand. So if this is your first time being serious about your brand, congratulations. If this is the second time you've been serious about your brand, congratulations. If you've always been serious about your brand, but you had that knowledge gap, so you got stuck, congratulations. Because I was stuck. I had a knowledge gap. And this is the first time outside of when I first started to get into business, period, that I've been really passionate about my own brand. And I got to this stuck point where, okay, so what the hell do I do? How the hell do I draw these people in? Where do I start? Because I can't just throw stuff out there. It has to be structured. I'm not a structured person. So to me, I have to just throw stuff out there because that's who I am. I just structure. Ugh, that's that's a cuss word to me. Structure. I am offended. Okay. And with the seekers, believers, and workers and disciples, what it does is it helps me structure how I'm gonna do stuff. So with the seekers, who remembers who the seekers are? Because that's it. The one thing I've learned about is if you remember who your customers are and what they're going through, it's a lot easier to put yourself in their place because you've been there already. We've all been seekers. So we're going to do a quick review and then we're going to dig into the meat of everything. So who remembers who the seekers are? Not what the seekers are, but who the seekers are.
Those are the people who are looking for a solution and they try to see if you have the answer to their problem, if you're the leader they're looking for.
Hey, thank you so much, Grace. Thank you so much. So if y'all have pen and pad available, I want you to write out the question. Go ahead, Miss Adonia.
Tiana,
Yes, ma'am.
you know what? This is just me, so I'm gonna ask for grace, literally and figuratively in this case. So I'm asking for grace, but the word manipulation for me is just like the word for sales. It doesn't make me feel good. That's just me.
No.
So
Thank you.
I'm going to, with your permission, may I, for me, rephrase that word manipulation and as opposed to, because here's what you do, whether you know it or not. You gift people with what they need. And so I say, like, you feed them. I'm hungry. You know my type. You know who I am. So you offer the food that I desire to have that will, satisfy my hunger, right? So you're again, that it's me, and I know it's me, and you guys are probably rolling your eyes like, please tell her to be quiet.
No,
But
you
it's
okay.
a feeling that I get when I hear that word, because when you manipulate, you're doing something against my desire. You're manipulating me into something that I don't want because it benefits you. And I don't
I feel
believe
the
it's
same way.
great. Because here's what I believe. I believe you found a need or you see a need and you're offering it to me. You're offering me the hope. You have an idea what I want the end game, and you're painting this picture, and I see myself standing in that picture, and I'm like, wow, she gets me. Now I want what she has to give to me. So now I want it. You're not manipulating me into having it.
Thank you very much, Miss Adonia, and thank you, Mr. Phil. So I want to. So
Wait a minute. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot he was listening. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So while I agree with Phil and Adonia, and I won't even offer a rebuttal to it because I hear exactly what you said. Let's rewind and talk about modulation then. Let's do that. And let's attempt to bridge the gap between what Adonia is saying, which is absolutely correct. I have yet to correct upon that or build upon it. I'm not. I literally mean when I say I agree with her, I agree with Phil. I'm also afraid for anyone who has a problem with that as well, because the periodic table is pure manipulation. Let's call it modulation. In order to create salt, you take elements and you fuse them together to make salt. You can't do that with gold because gold does not exist to interact with anything. It's not from this planet. It's from the stars. If you tune your radio to 97.9, whatever you have, it's literally called frequency modulation. So please keep the manipulation a bad thing, because you're correct. But I humbly request that you add to your worldview modulation. Okay, let's pause real quick. I am not saying I have yet, when you rewind the tapes to borrow from the old sayings, when you rewind the tapes, I have yet to say or correct or add upon what was said. I don't have a problem with that. What scares me is that we are missing in our auto suggestion, our subconscious, this idea of modulation, this idea that, quite frankly, white people have used to get all the wealth, and we can too. A ship over water is modulating buoyancy, whether you like this to be or not. Tree sap, there's a word for maple syrup to flow, it's called viscosity, which genuinely means the resistance for a liquid object to flow. So I want you to add this idea of modulation. Let me explain why. Because wealth must be modulated, whether you want this to be or not. It is our kind hearts that are keeping us from wealth, whether you want to hear that or not. I didn't say be mean. See, that's our problem. Our problem is if I say I'm a boy, you automatically think I'm not a girl. The world doesn't work that way. I know you want it to, but there are people, every genuine woman here has a penis. Every genuine man here has a clitoris. They're the same organ. They're the same organ. Adonia's went in, mine went out. It's the same organ. So I just want you to get that nature itself modulates, whether you like that or not. There's a reason why some women have mustaches. Society says it's a bad thing. Your body says it's testosterone. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Field.
Yes, but the water and the boats and the clitoris and the penis don't have free will.
No
And
doubt.
that's why instead of manipulate, encourage.
I've got no problem with that. Again, I have no problem with what you said and what Adonia said. What I have a problem with is what scares me, because I use those words on purpose. What scares me is we have half the picture. And half the picture doesn't get us where we need to be. If by chance you can hear me, which I know is hard to hear me, not because my voice doesn't sound like Adoni's or Liana's, it's just because I'm going against the grain. And it's not intentional. It's just that 802.11 is a modulation that you call Wi-Fi. That the understanding that the Super Bowl will happen sometime in February, or free agency, let's do that. For NBA free agency is happening right now. And over the tune of this free agency, $1 billion or close to it will occur in these digital waves in America alone, just America. But these inmates need $85. And to my knowledge, I think we raised 50, so that's 100. So even in this kind community, we can't tap into the $1 billion being freely circulated to people who hit the genetic lottery. And that's an issue that scares me. It scares me that we leave wealth to the ones who got lucky and were born into the right situation or worked hard into the right situation. That absolutely scares me. I get it. I know I'm wrong and blah, blah, blah. But ask yourself, am I wrong, or are you manipulating your own auto-suggestion, which you don't want to say, not to hear me? Those are two different things. Those are two different things. See, I'm perfectly okay with receiving that Adonia is right. I have yet to say I have yet to even speak about manipulation yet, because that's not my issue. My issue is that's half the picture. So if we're not going to manipulate, which I'm perfectly fine with, what are we going to do? See, I don't hear any movement forward. I just heard it from Phil. I heard it from Adonia. I don't hear it from nobody else. See, it's not what Adonia says that scares me. It's not what Phil says that scares me. It's just that y'all hide behind cameras, you mute your microphones, and then you go, oh yes, that's right. And no, it's one side of infinity. I'm not right. It's one side of infinity. Yes, you can go ahead, Phil.
Well, when I was selling bank stock, you could make a case that I was manipulating people to buy stock in their local banks. I show up on time. I take my shoes off. I get them to the kitchen. I make sure the husband sits to the right of me and the woman sits across the table from me. The first thing I show them is a shareholders list. Then I do this and I do this, and then I have a close, and then I have a way to get 5 referrals. So you could say I was manipulating them to do that.
That's fair.
But because I believe in my product, and I believe that my intent is to create a mutually agreed upon response that's best for all parties, I tell them why they shouldn't buy stock in their local bank, as well as why they should. That is more of an encouragement spirit than a manipulation spirit. But a case could be made that I was manipulating them because all the things I do to get to a point where they can't make a decision that's best for them.
Right. And so my argument would be he was simply modulating the circumstances around him so he could encourage. This is my argument, that wasn't manipulation, that you need to go into this situation and you need to respect two things, Antonio. You need to respect the fact that Antonio that Adonia and Phil are absolutely correct. But everybody, there are forces. So when I jump in front of Adonia, who has this kind heart, doesn't want sales and wants a manipulation, it's not that she doesn't want these things. Her soul recognizes these things as a violation of her free will, to borrow from Phil. Her soul is recognizing this is a violation of her free will. She has ascended so much on this planet, she can recognize when her free will is being manipulated. So I'm perfectly okay with that. And I'm perfectly okay with the fact that Phil said, sit here, do this, go out with this, because there are forces. Every time Phil tries to do something, there are forces acting against him for it not to be done. And you got to account for those forces. I don't care if you call it the Orion group, just depends on what literature you read. I don't care what you call it, but I promise you, I'm scared for the fact that we are better than knowing that my side of infinity is the right side. It is not. Infinity is too big to view. See, Adonia is a woman in a male-dominated industry. She cannot go to work not looking like a woman. And if she did, then she has to change what woman means, and she needs to go all the way butch. So until she becomes a super butch lady or a super feminine soft lady, she's never going to be successful. I'm not making those rules. I'm saying that the modulation of the male misogyny must say you are desirable or you one of us. I'm not telling you I'm making this up. I'm not telling you I agree with this. I'm just saying if you're in between, I'm not hiring you.
Is that you're desirable or you want to be one of us? Does that make sense? Because
No,
that's
it does make sense. Just know that when I said I wasn't speaking on me. I wasn't talking
right.
I was talking about society.
Right. But I'm just trying to get it right in my mind, because from the time you start talking, it started bringing me back to when I had probably about a month's events of teaching me. And this was before I started meeting with you all. I started having about a month of events of where I was being shown that I was being too nice to have anything come to me. Does that make sense?
It
Where
does,
I
and
was,
that scares me
I
more
was
than the rest of the
giving,
conversation. Right? Yeah, that
so I
scares me
was
more than the
giving,
conversation we're having.
Antonio,
so
Mhm.
because I was giving, and when it came time for someone to give me, I was like, no, it's okay. I was offered a
Oh,
position,
okay. So okay,
and the
okay,
person
okay.
that offered me the position because they saw what I was doing, they said,
Okay.
we want to bring you on. And
No,
when
that's
they
good.
said they wanted to bring me on, they said, we want to talk to you about how much you would charge.
Yeah, I got you. I
I
got you.
said,
Yep, yep,
I said to them, no, it's okay. I like
yeah.
doing it.
Yeah, hold on. Let me stop right there. Then I'm gonna get Jerome, but let me stop right there. That's not too nice. Okay. You did skip me at first. No, what you were doing is you was passing on your low self-esteem as niceness. That's what you were doing. You loved yourself. I mean, you hated yourself so much you didn't want to receive the gift of being nice, which is money, which is possessions, which is presence. If you are a nice person, this universe owes you the gift of said niceness. Jerome, let me say this 5-second sentence and you go ahead, go. If you are currently uncomfortable with anything that I've said or Adonia said or Phil said, nothing rude has been said. That's my point. You're not uncomfortable with the dialogue. You're uncomfortable with disagreement. You're uncomfortable with opposing viewpoints. And that's never going to vibrate you to wealth, ever. Ever.
I
That's a
wanted to add
vibration.
that I don't do that anymore.
Oh, no, but you were talking in the past tense. We got that.
I've learned some
Yes,
things.
yes. Go ahead, Jerome.
Yes, and I want to speak from Jerome's perspective. Not Adonia, not
It's
Phil,
right, but
not
it's
even
right.
you.
It's
I'm
Jerome's
speaking from-
perspective is 100% right. It's just a
Yeah.
side of infinity.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as I listen to our conversation, I reflect back when I first started coming on these calls. And one of the things, Antonio, that you made very clear to me when I first started on these calls was, number one, the reason you are the way you are, Jerome, is because of your programming. Your programming is jacked up. And not only is it jacked up, you're out there reinforcing it because it's jacked up. I didn't want to receive that at first. Then I say, well, Jerome, look at your harvest. Oh, damn. Because if it weren't jacked up, when you had, I say, wait a minute. So first, I had to deal with the issue of what you were saying to me. Then I had to say, now, Jerome, am I going to accept that or not? I said, I think I should accept it because I prefer to have a harvest than not have one. But the flip side of that, Antonio, was if I was going to accept what you said, then I needed to take action in order to be profitable, to have a harvest and move forward. And if I did what I was doing before, or as I say, if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always gotten. If you want something different, you got to do something different. So you said, here's the things that I've learned. These are the things that I've seen, and here's my harvest. Now you can pick from this and whatever, but this is what I know works. So I said to myself, well, what I'm doing ain't working. So Jerome, what you gonna do? And I realized that there are people out there that I want to reach, and there are people out there that I want to bring into my circle, that I want them to have the same aha moment that I did. And just like you said, some of us are fighting against ourselves. I fought against Jerome. Okay. It didn't help. It didn't get where I wanted to. And then when I stopped and said, Jerome, look at the facts and come up with the game plan that works for Jerome, not for ATS, not for Antonio, not for anybody else, that works for you. but here are the principles that you know work because you trust this young man and you've seen his harvest. And then that's what I started to do. So when the Adonia was talking, I said to myself, I can see exactly where she's coming from. And if all I'm going to do is I reach out to others, as I reach out to potential customers, and I'm only quote unquote manipulating or using them for the purpose of Jerome and Jerome alone, that's not good. That's not pretty. But they used me, they took advantage of me, and I don't believe I have to do the same thing that they did or society did in order to help others and be successful. But at the same token, if I don't help them against themselves, like you helped me, Antonio, I'll still be where I was, and I'll probably die that way. And I don't want to die that way.
Well, amen.
So the bottom line is that if I'm only doing it for the sake of patting myself on the back, or being selfish or saying I told them so, I think that's an ugly thing. But the bottom line is, in this society, in this reality that we're in, that's part of the process. And you don't have to be a butthole or an asshole in order to help people, but that's part of how it works. And you can, and if using a different terminology or a different word to do that, that's fine. But I hear you, Antonio, and you have a right to be concerned, because if we try to manipulate it for ourselves or try to twist it around so it works for us, we may end up losing.
Oh, you will
And if we
lose.
do that,
No,
what
you
good
will.
is all that we're going through?
No, you're
Don't-
gonna lose, and you're gonna have to
Yeah.
protect it. Yeah, you're gonna have to
Yeah.
protect it.
That's
To-
all I wanted to say,
To
sir.
do what Adonia said, to do what Phil says, forces you to get blessings, but they're blessings you have to protect. That's just a law of this universe. That's just a law of this universe. If you manipulate people, you'll win, but then you're gonna have to protect those winnings, and you're gonna spend so much energy protecting those winnings, you're never gonna win. And it's the wheat and the tares. It's poison and fruit popping up at the same time. So while you continuously win, you continuously have to pay for lawyers to get out of a lawsuit. It's going to wash out in the end. The universe protects itself at all times. So Jerome, I'm not going to say anything different than what you said. Let me rewind. I'm going to say everything different than what you said, but I'm not going to disagree with what you said. I'm saying everything different than what Phil said. It's the second story. When he said the bank thing, then me and Phil kind of in the same category. And I'm saying everything different than what Adonia said, but I'm not saying anything against it because I agree 100%. So I'm going to try to communicate better. Let me show you all what I'm doing. This is why I had Deanna taken over, but this concerns me because we're talking about the idea of moving faster. And that comes with whatever word you want to say. And I don't mean to be semantical. I don't mean to say, all right, don't say manipulation, say this. I don't care for that conversation. But I need to tell you, let me not tell you. I'm going to show you something real quick. So I've taken it upon myself. It's me, Phil, Adonia, Grace, Deanna, and I think that's it right now. Right? No. I'm wrong. Jerome, well, it's Law. Law is at the top of that list. Law, and then Jerome, and Melissa. Write those names down for me, Grace. Melissa, Law, Jerome, Adonia, Phil. I should say Phil Susan. If I said Phil, I'm sorry. Phil Susan. I think of them as one. That's like Regis and Kathy Lee. I think of them as one person. Yeah. Phil Susan, and I should have said Grace and Deanna, and then Melissa. If I should have said those should be the names.
You
And
said that
Law
first.
should be in there. Law should be in there. Okay. So I owe these people. And I don't, no, I don't want to hear that. I owe these people.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, put
There we go.
in a Adonia. All right. So redo the list because
Okay.
I like her name separate. I owe these people. So what I've been doing secretly behind the scenes is I've been speeding up. So I got Rhino Leg. I pushed out Rhino Leg to a programmer friend of mine. I got him handling that through the registration page, blah, blah, blah. Not a problem. Hey, you do this. Boom. The delay was his wife had a complication, so he had to take 2 weeks off. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm gonna be putting people business out there, you know what I'm saying? Gonna be people putting people business out there. That was the delay. And that's okay. I patiently waited in delay, and I think I earned a tad bit of his respect. Who knows? Family first is what it is. But I owe these people upon this list: Melissa, Law, Jerome, Phil, Susan, Grace, Adonia, Dion. So I said to myself, I had a meeting with Dion. I said, look, what I'm gonna need to do, this is why I'm scared, because I'm not sure if y'all gonna do what I'm doing, and it scares me. It scares me. While Rhino leg is okay, it's no problem. It's out. You do this while I go move on. I start working on something else, and that is the accumulation of immediate wealth, so I could do two things: bring back up my nest egg, and then pour that money into Rhino leg to go faster. I really need you to hear this, because this is the opposite of what we're discussing. And that's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that if you don't want to, let's just use the word manipulate again. I know that's a bad word, but I want to use it because it takes us back to Deanna's conversation. Then you need to be able to manipulate the circumstances in your life, Tracy, for people that you owe. Adonia has no idea what I'm about to show her. Phil has no idea. Susan has no idea. Nobody on this list has any idea what I've been doing. No idea. Because while it's my responsibility to do what I'm doing, it's not that I try to do it privately. I just don't have time to explain myself. I don't have the time. I don't have the time to get Rhino leg up, to take care of these people whom I love on this list and explain myself. One of these got to go. So it's either not love the people on my list, not perform, or not explain. One of these have to go. So I choose to not explain. So I'm going to show you what I'm doing, which is why sometimes you see me, sometimes you don't. It's public. You can actually, here's my freelance page. I kid you not. I'll broaden it up. Deanna, make sure you do the veteran and the diversity for me, please. Okay, right here. Upwork has me as a rising talent because I keep being successful, because that's what I do, Grace. I don't know how to not be successful. Rising talent. I am currently renting myself out at no less than $150 an hour. Some people it's $350 an hour, and some of them is 25, 30 hours a week. To be clear, I hate jobs. Do y'all know who I am? Even though this is consulting, but still. So let's just make this very clear. I hate everything about what I am currently doing, but I don't feel that vibration, because I'm not stuck on one side of infinity. It's about winning with these people on this list. And Adonia, if this is what I need to do, I'm trying to help somebody now, Grace. So this is why I'm afraid that, are you willing to, I don't even know what the public view looks like. Let's find out. All right, this is what I look like publicly. Rising talent, that's a badge. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. $150 an hour. I can charge $150 an hour because I'm that good. I'm that good. I don't even know what's down here, blah, blah, blah. So what I'm trying to say is, that's the modulation. That's the, okay, we got two options, Antonio. Wait or get this done right now. I'm going to say it again, Tracy, because I know I'm making sense, but I don't know if I'm getting past auto suggestion. Because that is absolutely modulation or manipulation or whatever. Here what it is. I am taking 100%, and I need you to hear this, I am taking, in some cases, $350 an hour from companies with 2 to 9 employees, from companies with 99 employees, in most cases, $150 an hour, to give to these people. Now, I don't know what you call it. I don't know how you call it, but we got to call it something. I'm taking from one pot to go put in our pot. Again, this is what scares me, that we're too nice to say, this is what I'm worth. It is what it is. This is what it is. This is what I'm worth. Here's where this money is going. So Antonio, you're freaking famous. Why you? Because I'm doing two things. I'm speeding up my own project, and I really like blockchain, and I've been looking forward to working on some blockchain things in the first place. I genuinely have an interview today at 12 to be a consultant for blockchain, maybe write a little code for Solana, for Polymatic, and Solana, Polymatic, and Ethereum. I should have went Ethereum, Polymatic, and Solana. I have been studying for 30, I already knew, but I had to go 30 days, just a 30-day boot camp on my own. I'm not telling you this because I'm a good person. I'm telling you this because I understand what Adonia was saying. So while it is manipulation of wealth or modulation of wealth on one end, is the empowerment and encouragement for the people on this list. What else to say? Go ahead, Phil. Save me. Do something special.
Well, this may help you. I was having a conversation with a client, and he said, "What's your hourly rate?" I said, $300 an hour. He goes, "What?" And yeah, $300 an hour. He says, "Are you nuts?" I said, "Well, that's true, but you've changed my subject." What? He says, "How can you charge $300 an hour? And my attorney only charges me $200 an hour." I said, "Fine, get a phone book." He said, "What?" I said, "Get a phone book." He said, "Okay." I said, "I want you to look at how many lawyers are in that phone book." Pages of lawyers. How many humor consultants? One. I should charge you more than $350 an hour, $380 an hour. So there's only one Antonio T. Smith Jr.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair. I shall raise my price because I've been charging $350 an hour anyway. So yes,
Antonio?
right. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm gonna save you. I'm only gonna save you a little bit.
Thank you so much.
When you shared with us what you shared with us, I was not surprised. Because you've been doing some other stuff that you haven't been explaining yourself either. But one of the things that sticks with me, and it's in my crow, it's in my shana now. You said that whenever I need revenue, whenever I need more money, I will construct some product, some whatever, to bring that money in.
I did say that, and I mean it.
Exactly. And so for you to say what you're saying does not surprise me, because that's who you are, and you are living what you preach. Now, is that what you prefer? Hell no.
No.
But that's not the point. That is a vehicle that you are using at this point in time so that you can do some other things that you said are going to blow up big time, and you still get to do both.
Right.
All of us can't do that, and all of us can't appreciate that, but that's what I saw when you were saying what you were saying. You were doing exactly what you say you do.
Exactly what I said. And so to Adonia's point, who has the strongest point, well, she spoke first, so obviously the strongest point. I feel you. I'm keeping my word. First off, I should charge you. I should. Y'all should be paying to be here. I should charge you. And I didn't come up with let's make this very clear. I did not come up with a product to charge y'all. I charged businesses. This, you ain't got to give me my props. I still kept this free for y'all while doing, you're very welcome, Tracy. I inconvenienced myself. I went to something I don't normally do and got excited about it, Phil, because law of attraction is important. I was like, oh, I get to do these things that I've been trying to add into Rhino Leg. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push myself. I'm gonna say, okay, I'm gonna go over there, consult for them, but I don't know that skill set. I know a little bit of it. So let me go through 30 days real quick, since I already have this coding. See, since I got coding skills, everything else is easy for me. It's easy now. It's like, you're speaking English, and then there's a class about stories. All right, so since you speak English and they're doing English stories, it's just easy. You just got to learn the genre, the rules over there. That's it. I'm not charging y'all, but I got to charge somebody. And this is what scares me, because that's the conversation that we are having. See, the reason I spoke up, because Adonia good, feel good. Y'all not. No offense to you, but you pale in comparison to Adonia, Phil, and Susan. They won't let me say that out loud. So just act like I didn't say that. Just act like I didn't say that. Because they're charging somebody for their services. You understand what I'm saying? But you not. Adonia got HR. If Adonia quit right now, it'd be 16 people saying, you come over here though. Now that's the last thing she want to do. She don't want another job. She don't want another job. But you get the point. Don't just remember my initial, in fact, I only made one argument. My initial argument was, I hear you. That's one side of infinity. So I gotta go charge these people, or Brenda, you owe me $2,000. Now, at the very least, this was shocks me about your mentality. Shocks me about your mentality. The only thing I ask y'all for is donations to prisoners in which I match. And that is once a month, no more than twice. And I'm not saying you have to, and I'm not saying you do, and I'm not saying that's your cup of tea. But some of you secretly get pricked in the fringes. I can just charge you, and then I'll take your customer money and get these prisoners. It's okay. Either way. But since I told y'all two things, I've been stopped charging y'all. And it's motor scooters that used to be here mad that I charged them, gave them what they need, but wanted me to do the work. So now they're mad talking about me. That's okay. But I wouldn't even charging you $500 to build a whole business for you and say, all right, here you go. And you got mad at that. That ain't got nothing to do with me. And if I'm not mistaken, I donated every dime of that to prisoners and families. I never took a dime. And I showed y'all where it went. So I can either charge you, but the reason I don't want to charge you is because I'm tired of clients. I cannot stress this enough. I am keeping in tune, Tracy, with my law of attraction. I don't want no more clients. Thank you very much. I do appreciate you. I'd rather y'all as colleagues than clients, because clients get on my nerves. I'm just telling you the truth. It is what it is. I'm just telling you the truth. So now I'm a client consulting myself out. I could deal with that. I showed y'all this today, and I took the conversation from Deanna because it scares me. Are you willing to take your high income skill sets, if you have them, and do what Adonia is doing to say, all right, this is what you're gonna pay me for this. This is what it is. And I'm not talking about charging your worth. I'm saying it is. Nobody here thinks. First off, I ain't had a job since 2011. They disgust me. I break out in hives when I think about them. There's just nothing about me that wants jobs. That's why I'm like, that's why I'm interviewing them. You hear me? I'm interviewing them. Like, wait a minute now. What you trying to do? Blah, blah, blah. Because I got to do it around the calls. I got to do it this, and that, and blah, blah, blah. And me and Deanna already, 2 people sent us red flags. And I was like, nah. You know, and that was $150 a piece. And I was like, no, I don't know. Well, I'll see, but I doubt it. So I'm passing people up, Tracy. But not because I'm worth it or blah, 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 blah. It's because I can see the other side of infinity. And once I get to the other side, Phil, I'm just going to the other side again. And I'm going to the other side again. If you're learning anything, learn this here. If nothing else, Melissa, Law, Jerome, Phil, Susan, Grace, Deanna, Adonia, they know I will not quit. Nah, you can say whatever you want to say. That's on you. I ain't in that list. Well, you know what? You ain't them either. God don't show favorites. I do. I've never denied this. This has never been in denial. When I finish with them, we can create another list. Is that okay, Jerome? We can create another list. But in one way, shape, or another. See, I know. Melissa, where you at, Melissa? Where you at? I'll mute your mic, Melissa. I'll mute your mic. Let me show y'all something. I'm gonna show you. Well, you know what? Don't unmute your mic, Melissa. Don't unmute your mic. The IRS is watching. Don't worry about it. Don't mute your mic. I was gonna say too much. I know that Adonia knows I would give her $3.2 million. I know Adonia would give me $3.2 million. I know Phil and Susan would do the same thing. See, all these people on this list, we're what you call givers. And in this season, come on, help me out, Adonia. It's our turn to receive. Where Adonia, make sure she's not putting on, she might be strapping her heels in the back by her,
I'm not putting the heels on, but I'm going to be quiet because I didn't mean to stir this the way it went. There was a reason why I said it. I'm going to leave it there and just not comment any further because I feel like I distracted the class by making that statement.
No.
You did not distract the class.
No.
I
It
believe what
needed to
I
be
said, but it's a distraction and I did not mean to do that.
Well, I
disagree with you. It's not a distraction.
Yeah.
I'm jumping in there. It's not.
Yeah. That's not.
You spoke from your heart, and that's what you're supposed to do.
And I'm not even disagreeing with you, right? I'm not. But I don't want to. I don't know what to say to that because I mean no harm. So I don't know what to say to that. I'm saying for the rest of you, there has to be something that you are modulating. There has to be something. It has to be. It has to be, or you are a consumer. It's all I'm saying. I'm not saying anything else. Now, I don't know how not to offend you, but again, I'm not sure if that's me. I'm not sure if that's me. It's what are you? We have to generate income. Let's try this. I'm trying this like the 5th different way I'm trying it now. We have to generate income. If we're not, then we are consumers. I didn't make this up. I don't like the way it exists. But just because I don't like it, don't mean I'm not going to master it. I don't know how not to upset you about this, but I promise you, if you listen to what I'm saying, I'm not saying anything I can't say on the White House lawn. I'm not saying anything that can't be transcribed and I go like to jail for it, or I'm offended, I'm offensive for it. I'm not even being polarizing. And I'm always polarizing. But I'm polarizing on purpose, and I'll show you why. I tell you this all the time, but I've never actually showed you. So after Tracy goes, I'll show you why I do what I do. I've said it before, but I never really showed y'all. I went to a note and I had a note about how to tell a story and all the stuff I learned from Hollywood and blah, blah. This was years ago. I'll do it again, but differently this time. Okay. But before Tracy goes, listen to me. If we in these squares are not generating income, they have us by the balls. I don't know another way to tell you. If we're trading time for money, they got us. And inflation is still going to happen, and the devaluation of the dollar is still going to happen. So I get, Grace, that you are ruffled by the feathers by me, but it might be because I'm telling the truth, not because I'm being rude. I don't know where we go from here. I just know that there's another side of infinity, and we have to generate income. Okay, go ahead, Tracy, and then I'm gonna show you something.
Okay, good morning, everyone. And I just want to make
Morning.
sure I'm getting an understanding correctly. Because you were saying we need to be modulating, and so you're saying,
I wasn't
and then you
necessarily worried
said
about the
you,
word.
okay,
I was,
well,
yeah. But no, because hold on, just real quick. Because if I make it about the word, then I am a distraction, and I am offending what Adonia said and Phil said. That's not my attempt, and I agree. And if you listen to my conversation, I have yet to try to add to that conversation or correct that conversation. I'm saying something different. It's just an opposing viewpoint. Go ahead, Tracy.
okay, no, it was just, and then you're saying like take our skill set, something that we already have, and make money off of it, right? Until
Generate
so,
money.
okay, okay, so based on like what you showed us, you said like you feel you have people that you want to take care of. And so I'm thinking I'm taking what you said and trying to put it into my own life, right?
Yeah.
And so while I am building the speaking career and building the other aspects and the courses and things like that, like as of right now, it's not generating the
Right.
finance that I want. So this is what you're saying. What you're doing is you're speeding up
Right.
your process by doing something else and using your skill sets to make money with your consulting and, like you said, putting yourself out there in another way to make money.
Right. You
And
hear me say
are you
this all the
saying,
time. It's called an income producing asset.
okay,
That's
and
what I'm doing.
so like, and so, and I think me and Jamal just had this conversation the other day. So I'm kind of like, okay, with cheer, I've done cheer so many years, and I had this number in my mind. Remember how we talked about getting a number, how much you want to make per month, and then breaking it down to your weekly. So I did all that. Was one of the classes we did some months ago. So I got my number and I was breaking it down, but I wasn't including anything coming from cheer because I'm like, I don't want to focus on the cheer part anymore because I'm trying to transition into something different and not even do that part. And he's like, yeah, but you still want to use that knowledge that I have with that field in order to make money and use that money to use that income to help speed up the process for the other things, like in the speaking aspect. So
And
pretty
that
much you're saying the
automatically
same
puts you in the
thing.
wealthy, that automatically puts you in the wealthy class. There's 3 ways to spend money. That's the wealth way. That automatically does that. It lets you keep your income alone. You create an income producing asset, use that income producing asset to pay for your liabilities, to borrow any money, and to pay for your expenses. That's wealth. That's the conversation that we were having, that what made me speak up was middle class. That scares me because we're going to continually repeat the cycle. I'm only having the conversation that Tracy just explained. Keep going, Tracy. Oh, she muted herself. Okay, listen, I don't know how not to not offend you, because I only talk about subjects that are emotionally charging. On top of that, I intentionally show my flaws. I've said this before. Who remember me saying this? Because no one likes perfect person. See, I'm too damn smart. And I'm so smart, and I'm what you call a polymath. Who knows what a polymath means? Google the definition, Grace, and put up. There's a way Phil and Susan and Jerome and Adonia grew up. You call it a Renaissance man. I'm born in the wrong era. A Renaissance man can do anything at a genius level. You know, Michelangelo can do a painting and then a sculpture. Polymat, meaning. I'm a polymath. Read it, Grace.
Person of great and varied learning. When a person's knowledge covers many different areas, he or she is a polymath. The Greek word.
That's you get to go. You get to go. Okay, you stop it now. I understand. If I ever said anything to you, this is probably the most brilliant. Deanna, just sit back. You good. You looking good. Sit back. Or she took her hat down. So she said, go ahead and do my thing. I want to address this. Remind me to come. I'm not gonna forget. Let me address this comment and the thing real quick. Is this to say some type of trying to help people move forward in their consciousness, like what Paul is discussing in 2 Corinthians 5:11? Pull up 2 Corinthians 5:11. I already agree with this. Grace says she don't have no notes for today. I already agree with this. 2 Corinthians 5:11. Let's read it real quick. I don't have that one in my little memory here. But think about this. I'm a religious scholar. I'm a artificial intelligence scholar. I'm a philosopher. You know, all sorts of stuff, right? Therefore, no one fears not we persuade others, but what we are is known to God. I hope it is known also to your conscience. Yeah, that's fine. Absolutely. That's fine. It's you just religiousize it, but that's fine. If that's the way you get it. See, if that's the way you get it, run that. I'm a new age. I know new age better than anybody else. I know this and this. And the problem with that is, Melissa, when you're as smart as me, you are automatically offensive. So there's something that I do, Tracy, man, if y'all don't hear nothing else, this is for Tracy, this is for Adonia, this is for Law. And oh my God, Melissa, this you at the top of the list. Melissa, you are the biggest offender here. And this is for Melissa, right? This is for Melissa. Melissa's the only offender, but the rest of y'all are just, since you're so gifted, you have this problem. See, some of you can't make people fall in love with you immediately, like Deanna, like Susan. So they can mask their intelligence with empathy. See, they love to be underestimated and blah, 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 blah. Don't take my word. Don't even listen to me. Let's just assume that, I don't know another way to say it. This is going to be offensive, that the white people running the world are smart. Let's just do that for a moment. And let me show you something that I showed you a while ago. And I'm going to try it now. So here's my notes. This is what I'm literally doing right now. I put myself in a 5-day boot camp. Literally, I pumped out chapters yesterday. Some of y'all got chapters from me. I pumped out a bunch of chapters yesterday. You hear me? A bunch of them. Yeah. Yeah. On the 4th of July, I was pumping out chapters. This is me going through my own stuff, blah, 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 blah. I'm writing it down, Phil, because I want to teach my kids blockchain. So if I come over here and I go to like how to tell a story right here, how to tell a story better. Last time I updated this was January 13th, 2021. I need you to get that. I studied all of this. This has been here since like 2017. How to tell a story better, how to build a world, noisy log line. And what I did was I said, well, who is running the world and making the money I want to make? And all I could think of, Phil, was Hollywood. I couldn't think of nobody else. Apple. Apple is now a $3 trillion company. There's never been a $3 trillion company. Just like it was never a $1 trillion. Just like it was never a $2 trillion. Phil understands what I'm saying. Apple, it took Apple 40 years to get to 1 trillion, 1 year to get to 3. Anyway, y'all can catch that later. So I did all this. This was too complex. So this time, I'm gonna tell you this. If all of you Google 22, what is it called? It's 22 storytelling rules. Pixar, the #1 animation studio in the world. Can someone tell me who started Pixar? Steve Jobs. Pixar, the #1 animation, not Disney, Pixar. Disney does a few other things. The #1 animation place in the world. And here's the deal. This is what you call esoteric knowledge. Very few people know this. They put out something a while ago called the 22 Laws of Storytelling, the 22 lessons for storytelling. And guess what the #1 lesson is? Don't take my word. Google it. It's public knowledge now. #1, you admire a character more for trying than for their success. If you want your story to be good, that character must have flaws and suck. And they don't have to win, but they have to try their tails off. There's 22 rules in here. I promise you I have all 22 memorized. I follow them every time y'all get in front of me. And the reason why I lead with my flaws first, because I'm a polymath. I'm too smart. Do you understand how irritating a know-it-all is? Notice how y'all don't say I'm a know-it-all. You say I'm uncouth, I'm crazy, he this. It is far easier for me to let you talk about my flaws than it is for you to hate that I know stuff. Hating that I know stuff doesn't make me any money. I literally make my living being smarter than people. Do you know how offensive that is? Yeah, I'm not critically thinking about the difficult tasks that I have every day. So I really want you to get that when I'm talking to you, I'm not talking to you from a standpoint of, ooh, this bothers me. No, I'm looking, thank you. Please post them all. Please post them all. I really appreciate that. Please post them all. Pixar's 22 rules of storytelling, put them in the notes, Grace. There's your notes today. And that is pure modulation. That's pure whatever you want to call it, right? I'm staying away from manipulate because that wasn't a problem for me. I keep saying this again, that was not a problem for me. The problem for me was simple. But are we going to the other side of infinity? How is this any different than Phil's 22 rules from selling banknotes? I don't know if he had 22, but you get the point. That's no difference. No. That Hollywood is genuinely taking billions of dollars from us. No, not billions, hundreds of billions, tens of billions of dollars a season. Forget a year. A season. Right now, Hollywood has planned y'all ready for this? Hollywood has planned their October movies for you because they know you're going to take off. You're going to be broke. They got October movies to get your stuff. And we all know right now, Christmas movies are coming. How many of you, this is how much we're being modulated. How many of you know it ain't Christmas until you see polar bears or singing raisins?
Or the Clydesdales.
Or the Clydesdales.
Can't forget the Clydesdales.
I don't care how old you are. I don't care how young you are.
Coca-Cola.
Until I hear Silent Night, it ain't Christmas time. And it's only one version of Silent Night.
No.
Temptation.
Okay. The
That's
Temptations. If I don't hear the Temptations,
That
it
part.
ain't no Christmas time.
Temptations.
Yeah, we've been modulated again. That's 22 laws of storytelling that Pixar gave away for free. And if you're hearing this for the first time, it doesn't mean you're wrong. It just proves that it's esoteric knowledge. Only the few had it. And that's the crazy thing is it's free on the internet. I build my entire brand off of this, Tracy. I behave the way I behave on purpose. Why? Because I follow these 22 laws of storytelling. I also have memorized the 48 laws of power. I also have memorized the 22 immutable laws of marketing. And every day I get up and I apply all of them. And the best way to see me apply things is when something, it's like when I get a question or a disagreement, that's when you see me at my best. At my best, you go, oh my God, he handled that so well. He handled that so well. I went, all right, number one. No, not number one. Number six. No, not number six. 12 I do. I do this in an instant. And I do 12. But if I say that, remember one time I told y'all the worst advice I ever got was follow your dream. I think it's the most stupid advice on the planet. It's the most stupid advice on the planet because most of y'all dreams don't make no money. No, I said create an income producing asset, Tracy, which you caught me saying. The myth, Tracy repeated. So what you're saying is, and she repeated everything I'm saying now. That tells you how I'm communicating, but it also tells you that all of us have auto suggestion. I think Phil. Okay, go ahead, Phil.
Was it follow your dream or follow your bliss?
Follow your bliss is actually good advice. Follow your dream is terrible advice. Yes. Follow your bliss is law of attraction now. Create an income producing asset. Secure your financial goals so you can stay in bliss, and then you can do your dream without having to have your head in your pocket. Trying to do your dream while having your head in your pocket messes up the vibration. Now you're planting poison and fruit at the same time. My worry is they got us and we got to get out of it. And the way to get out of it is not to get out of it. It's only to create massive income. But how do you do that? We have to be generators of wealth, Tracy. And I know that's the foci of my conversations. But for whatever reason, that doesn't resonate well because I have to go through so many years of your programming. And that's okay because, to borrow from Jerome's church, some plant seeds, some do this, but God supplies the increase. So I don't need to try to tell Tracy when to get it. God will supply that increase. I just need to plant the seeds. But I am perfectly within my God-given gift to say, wait a minute, let's stop for a moment. I'm afraid. The conversations that we have are not only important, but we're the only ones having them, at least in my experience. I'm sure there's another Adonia or Antonio Smith or Phil leading somewhere, having difficult conversations, teaching ChatGPT. But in my experience, there is not. It is just us. It's just us. And we never talk about easy things. First off, y'all too smart. Secondly, we've been doing this too long. But that list, I have to show up for that list. And I cannot, oh my God, I don't know how. Nobody on that list is going to win if I am only kind-hearted. I know you don't like that. That does not be mean. That's not what I said. That does not mean be mean. That's not what that means. It means that somebody got to learn these principles. Jerome, best pastors I've ever seen, got 6 members. As a matter of fact, most pastors who preach the walls off a church suck as people from my experience. There I go again, showing my flaws. But the pastor who can't preach his way out of a paper bag got thousands of members. You know why?
You're correct.
Administrative skills, people love him, blah, 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 blah. I can assure you, typically, there's a guy in our town. He pastors now. He planted a church. But I was telling Grace, I was like, why you hate this guy? In fact, why you hate this guy? I want to say names so bad. Why you hate this guy? He the only one in the city with sons in the ministry. To untranslate that for y'all, that means he's a pastor that has produced other pastors that have gone out to pastor churches, 3 or 4 of them in a little small Galveston, Texas. Every other pastor in Galveston, Texas, we're talking about black church too, but I have no idea what white people do. Every other pastor in black church has no pastors under them. And I say, you hate the one guy because he can't preach that got 4 churches under him? Well, not under him, but that came from him. You mad at that? Then you got preaching wrong. We didn't come here to preach people happy. We came here to produce disciples. That's my conversation here. Because I say I haven't gone on discipleship. That's my conversation here. I'm afraid that we are not focused on generating wealth. And I get it. I know I have offended, and it seems like I'm singling out, but that's not me. I did not do that. But I'm not going to waste time defending myself. Y'all know me better than that. I'm not going to harp on it. And I'll tell you, I'm not going to feel bad about it. I do, but it's just easy for me to tell you I'm not going to feel bad about it because it fits the 22 laws of storytelling. I don't feel bad about it. It just shows you this polarizing figure that is me. And you'll go, fine, that's just him. And you'll show up tomorrow. That's not the truth. It's not the truth. I always feel terrible when something that we have said to one another about the difficult conversations have made us feel bad. I just wish that you could be more like me and blame the conversation and not me. Every day I get up
Just
here.
said a whole lot right there. Blame the conversation and not you. Be mad at the conversation that has to be had versus who is able to bring it to the table to be discussed. That's good.
That's it. Jerome, I don't know the answer, but I know the answer. Because infinity is too big to know. It's the only thing that exists. And I wish I could just pop open your heads, like literally just pop it off like a little Pez top from back in the day. And I'm talking about PEZ, the little things. I wish I could just pop your head open and pour it in. Forget everything you know. It's all infinity. But it doesn't work like that. I wish I could. It doesn't work like that. Melissa is intelligent, smart, brilliant, blah, blah, blah. Now she's walked into, I'll never be weak again. And that's going to offend people. And she's supposed to be offensive. So the only thing she can do is double down on that. There's not a single successful person on the planet who is not offensive. In order to have a personal brand, according to Russell Brunson, you have to be an attractive character and polarizing. There's 2 more things he says, but they're not relevant for this conversation. Well, the third one is that you have to have a good story. and you have to be able to tell parables. So that's all four now that are relevant. Please write this down. According to Russell Brunson, who can make $30 million in, no, he made 30 million in 90 minutes, Grace? That's
Yeah,
the
I
guy
believe it
who
was
owns
none- yeah.
ClickFunnels. All right.
Yeah.
He owns one of the greatest software companies alive. Put out Infusion. Yeah, you know, what, anybody ever seen Infusionsoft since? Infusionsoft went out of business because of ClickFunnels. They had to rename themselves. They went out of business because of ClickFunnels. Russell Brunson can't write code, but he owns the tech company putting out other tech companies. I'm gonna go ahead and say he's a public brand. He's a personal brand. I'm gonna go ahead and go. He could be a trusted source. Remember the video I played you Irresistible Offer? He says he had on his phone. People went on stage and was trying to buy his phone for $5 million. Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the kid with the babysitting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as long as this dude can sell his phone for $5 million, we're going to call him as a trusted source on this subject. He says you need four things to be a personal brand. Number one, you need to be an attractive character. What does attractive character mean? That everybody can't be as pretty as Adonia, but you have to be attractive in some sort of way. Attractive. That means attract people to you, not, you know, Tracy has this sex appeal. You don't have to have that. You know, Jamal's got the tall, dark, and handsome. You don't have to have that. You just need to attract people to you. That's what attractive character means. I'll probably go out of order, but the second thing it says you need to be polarizing. You got to go left or right. Joel Osteen or Donald Trump. This is the best way for me to remember this or teach this to you, because everybody's on the Joel Osteen or Donald Trump. That's it. Who is Tyler Perry on the Joel Osteen side? Regis Kathleen on the Joel Osteen side. I'm not saying there's not gradations in the middle. You get what I'm saying, though.
Who I just read, Tyler Perry just purchased BET and TV One.
He taught me the most powerful lesson that I've ever learned in my life. Tyler Perry taught me the most powerful lesson I ever learned in my life. And I thought about that. And I said, one day I'm going to explain it, but not yet. Tyler Perry bought BET, VH1, didn't make a single post.
Other people did.
This man still ain't posted about it. I go check his page every day to see when he go post. I swear to God, I'm not even joking to you. It's the most powerful lesson I've ever learned in my whole life. This man he didn't just make history, he made historic history. Ain't made a single post.
Antonio, didn't you tell us to move in silence?
Come on, man. This man ain't made a single post. Ain't saying God is good. Ain't no humble brag. No nothing. You need to be an attractive character. You need to be polarizing. You need to be able to tell parables. And then you need to have a good backstory. That don't mean you need to be on the 7th floor of the Prescott building, taking a bath, or saying you got a job. Get out of here. You don't need, that's Les Brown. It's Les Brown. So you don't need to be DT. You don't need to be all that. You don't need to be. And I finally found that video of Oprah I was trying to show y'all before we took a break. But I'll wait till it's relevant for the conversation. You need to be an attractive character. You need to be polarizing. You need to be able to tell parables. Why? Because people learn their stories. And you need to be able to have a good backstory. And the way you have it, if you don't know how to do your backstory, just look up Epiphany Bridge. It has 10 steps. And then now don't make all 10 steps 50 minutes. I mean, you may want to make 10 steps 30 seconds a piece. 30 seconds times 10 is 300. That's 5 minutes. That's 5 minutes, 300 seconds in 5 minutes. All of this is saying one thing. And I didn't mean to use Adonia as a platform, but I was never talking to Adonia. I even said early in the conversation, she good. Y'all ain't got what she got. Y'all pale into comparison. I did say these things, yes. And I said the same thing in my feelings too, and I said they ain't gonna let me say it. So I was never talking about them. It's y'all I'm worried about. It's y'all that you're a musician, so you hate watching the Grammys because you pissed off that music is watered down. Yeah, it is. And these are the people on stage. So what you gonna do about it? Music is watered down because the people who make the music don't own the music. The people who own the music trying to get more money. So they're only signing people who sound this way. 10 years from now, it'll change. As a professional athlete, you got 2.5 years. Get your money. That's football player talk. Basketball, you got 4.5. We got to be generating income. I'm not right. I am. Listen, when Jerome started talking about it, he said, well, this is just for me. And I said, that is right. You're right. On your angle of affinity, you are always 100% right. Everybody here is 100% right. Listen to what I said. I'm doing something for Law. Law, where you at, Law? Let's see if you go on your phone booth real quick, Law. So I like to get people to say stuff so you know I'm not lying. I'm doing something for Law, and Law had corrections about it. And it was a pleasant conversation. Even though I bodied the whole thing, though, I really did. You know what I'm saying? I bodied the whole thing. It was a pleasant conversation because there's different angles of infinity. Nobody's right, and nobody knows what the hell they're doing. Nobody knows anything. Phil said all the time, you should get a shirt. We're all making this up. You know, I'm going to mess this up, this quote. Go ahead, Phil, say the quote, because you know I'm going to mess it up. I already started off wrong. It was terrible.
Front says, hey, I'm making this up as I go along. And the back says, so are you, so admit it.
There you go.
We're all making this up as we go along.
All of us.
Hey, Tracy,
Okay.
did you get to see the movie The Shack? Did you see it? She's not there. By the way.
Oh, you cut your camera off, Phil, by accident.
If you haven't read this book, I recommend it highly.
Oh,
Tracy,
yeah,
did you see The Shack?
We started it that night and I fell asleep. So, but we're gonna finish it. We did start.
that
You
happens.
can't put that in their promo material.
Yeah, that happens.
Now,
that
you,
happens
okay,
for
you
sure.
may mess up Mr. Phil's quotes, but he always knew what quote you're talking about when you started off. So that's good.
I got the gist. I'm a storyteller. It's my gift. I'm absolutely not a quote teller. I'm a storyteller. My memory don't work that way. It works in abstract. That's why I'm always messing up quotes. Yeah, Phil texted me this morning and said he just finished reading chapter 9 or something like that. I appreciate you. This is the greatest work I've ever done as far as I'm concerned. And there's some extra stuff coming. Well, anyway, I'll be quiet about that. My friends, I'm
Can I interrupt you just?
No, go ahead.
Right. I wanted to catch you just a few minutes before you were saying my friends, but in that space where you was talking about how your mind works in abstract, you do realize that you can't have everything. I'm just saying.
Right.
I mean, you already. I'm be quiet, but it's true. I'm just saying.
It is true. No, it's very
You gotta
true.
have a little bit of
I
something.
gotta have a little bit of
Come on,
something.
man.
I can't have all the gold.
Come
I can't have
on.
all the gold.
You didn't
yeah.
already got the locks, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, and then you didn't did the biceps going on, bow, 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 and you losing the. Come on, now
I'm losing all of it.
gotta
I
leave room for something, huh?
I looked at myself in the mirror
I'm
yesterday. I
just
almost got my own phone number, Tracy. I almost got my own phone number. I looked at myself in the mirror. I said, "Ooh, look at you. What's your number? What's your
that
number?"
part.
You understand? Yeah.
Run with it, run.
Yeah, I was about to go to Pride Week. Yeah, but it's already over though. But you understand. I was working with Deanna this weekend about her brand and her stuff and seekers, believers, workers. And I didn't really just say what do this is split. You can split up your products and all of this stuff here. And I was telling her this is I wasn't telling her anything. I was letting her say whatever she wanted to say. Y'all, I'm wrong. And Every time I offend you, I'm wrong. But let's go back to what Phil said about manipulation of free will. There's a difference between choice and free will. This is what I pay for. If I hit your trigger, if I hit your, okay, put that down. This is what I pay for, Grace. I have to explain what trigger and auto suggestion is first. Napoleon Hill says that you have, I'm going to draw on this whiteboard. Napoleon Hill says that you have a conscious, well, let me shorten that up real quick, that you have a conscious mind. And then Napoleon Hill says that you have a subconscious mind. So you have a conscious mind, subconscious mind. Quantum physics says this to me, that your subconscious mind is, your conscious mind is processing about, I forget the exact number, but we'll say 242 megabytes of information a second. That can't even be a computer, Tracy. Like, that's not even, Zoom is using more energy than that right now just for you to hear me. But your subconscious mind is bringing in 40 gigs of information per second. Remember that, because Tracy's conscious mind forgot what her living room smelled like until I just said that, because it's filtering out information she doesn't need so she can hear me. But then Napoleon Hill does something different. Napoleon Hill then says, but then there is a auto-suggestion. Can y'all see this? Let me get something different. Then there is there we go, get square. There is an auto-suggestion. It sits between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. Your auto-suggestion allows things into your subconscious mind or disallows things into your subconscious mind. He has a whole chapter on this. It's very early in his principles. Everyone heard this conversation based on their auto-suggestion. Everyone hears me based on their auto-suggestion. So what happens is, if I tell Tracy, ooh, you's a good-looking woman, if she is tired of men trying to holler at her to work, let me unhood that. If she's tired of men trying to court her or sleep with her, whatever that may be, who want to work with her, and they hide behind that, you know what I'm talking about, Tracy, you know what I'm talking about, then I'm going to hit her auto-suggestion, Grace. I'm going to say, ooh, you look good. And what's going to happen is, boom, get that out of here. Hold on, that's not an arrow. I need an arrow. Let's do the color brown for doo-doo. Do doo-doo brown. It's going to do this here, Grace. Boom, get that out of here. Stupid man.
I was just going to say doo-doo brown. Get out of here.
If I remind you of the people, Grace, who manipulated you, every time I talk to you, boom, get that out of here. But when your auto-suggestion says, yep, that jives with our worldview, then it changes. What happens is it says, we like that. Go down here and make it our law of attraction. Make it reality. See, the reason why you need to retrain your subconscious mind, which is what we were talking about tonight, is because it's this part, Tracy. It's this freaking little green line here that's killing you. Yeah, I'm not gonna like what I'm saying, but that's okay. This little thing here, this is like I am genuinely speaking auto suggestion chapter as if you were 5 years old. No disrespect. I'm just saying that if you can't explain it to a 5-year-old, you don't know it. This auto suggestion is literally what you call triggers. We just got different words for it, Phil. This is your trigger. So I go, Grace, you can boom, get out of here. Tell me what to do. But that it hits your auto suggestion, you say, I don't like that. Am I making myself clear? And the crazy thing is, this happens every step of every day, and it's both good and bad. So if I tell Phil, we're not gonna make it, Phil's gonna go, let me switch to the doo-doo line. Phil's gonna go, erase. No, erase this. There we go. If I tell Phil we're not gonna make it, Phil's gonna go, get that out of here. Yes, we are. Because his auto suggestion is programmed to reject lack. If I tell another version of Phil, we're not gonna make it. Oh man, I really hope this time. And it's gonna go to his subconscious and it's gonna say, see, it's always me. I always get close, but no cigar. That's another version of Phil. That's maybe 2 lifetimes ago. I don't know. But it's another version of Phil. Because I'm pretty sure Phil has been Phil Sorrentino his whole life. Like just came out the womb humoring. I'm pretty sure he did it. He joked in between crying for bottles and stuff. Bam. Your auto suggestion is running your entire life. So when you hear me, since we always have difficult conversations, Jerome, always, I'm always messing with this here. Every ATS class I've ever taken has been messing with your auto suggestion. Everyone. Did I make that? So I'm gonna get ready to end. Did I make that simple for people to receive? It's Napoleon's Hill.
Yep, you did.
Auto suggestion. I'm not telling you needed it made simple. See, that's why I always do that. I always address my opposing viewpoints. College taught me that. I'm not saying you needed it simple. I'm not saying you wouldn't have got it without me. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is your auto suggestion is running your life because it's not letting things into your subconscious, or it is. So when you talk about retraining your subconscious mind, it's not your subconscious mind. You can't retrain it, Grace. Your subconscious mind doesn't do any thinking, Tracy. It does manifestations. You say, well, my conscious mind does thinking. Use a lie. It does thinking at like 200 megabytes. Your conscious mind just takes in information. That auto suggestion, that's what we're retraining. That trigger, that's what we're retraining. Okay, go ahead, Phil.
Just so you know, Think and Grow Rich. This is the Anti-Black edition. There is also Think and Grow Rich, The Black Choice, written by Dennis Kimbrough. Dennis Kimbrough went to the Napoleon Hill Foundation and said, you wrote Think and Grow Rich and all you interviewed was white people. He says, I want to write Think and Grow Rich and interview black people. So there's the book Think and Grow Rich, The Black Choice.
Yeah, and that's how it was. Adonia. I saw Think and Grow Rich movie. I was like, Black Choice, and then it was Adonia. She had brought it up randomly, and I was like, okay, so other people hear about this book too. She's the first person that made me realize that other people hear about the Black Choice. I think that's how she even got introduced to Napoleon Hill. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to tell you, and I'm not trying to tell you anything. I understand telling you things is a bad thing. I'm gonna get in trouble. I also understand not telling you anything is a bad thing. I'm gonna get in trouble. That's the wonderful part of human ascension. There is no right, there is no wrong, and no one's ever in trouble. Tracy said Adonia introduced the Black version to Tracy as well. I'm afraid that our auto suggestion is keeping us from wealth. That's why I'm afraid. I'm afraid our auto suggestion is keeping us from wealth because we have this view of money and it doesn't serve us. Can I tell you how y'all should view money? As nothing. You should genuinely view money as nothing because it is nothing. I cannot stress to you enough how once we got rid of the gold standard, money is absolutely nothing. The government doesn't even believe in money. No. This is too fast, too woke, but it ain't woke. This is absolutely federal department, whatever FDIC stands for. I forget what it stands for. Listen to me. Listen to me very well. This is your Federal Reserve talking. You can Google this. There is no such thing as money. There's no such thing as money. I'm gonna just wait. There's no such thing as money. There's no such thing as money. Grace, there's no such thing as money. May I explain to you, Grace, what money actually is?
Please.
Thank you so much. There's no such thing as money. You have a few systems. So you have a barter and trade. Now remember that. I like your grapes. Here's orange, Tracy. How many grapes can I get for one orange? That's barter and trade. Then what you have is a fiat system. This doesn't exist. It just means, boom, legal tender, which is what we live under today. Everybody pull out a dollar bill. Just look at it. It says legal tender. It means nothing. What we actually live under is a cash versus a credit system. That's what we live under. This is why cryptocurrency exists. This is why all money exists. Debt. Money is a system of debt. Money only has value because of debt. If I cannot assign a debt to a dollar, it has no value. Do not take my word. Please just Google how money works, or this is not me talking. This is written down in our money laws, everything that governs banks. I'm not joking. Money, the United States does not make money. The Federal Reserve does, which is not part of the United States. The Federal Reserve is not loyal to the United States. Can I push that further? The Federal Reserve did not start in the United States. Can I push it further? United States went to war. You call it the U.S. Revolution because of the Federal Reserve. And from 1776 all the way to 1913, we went to war not to have a Federal Reserve. We called the French weak because they were neutral in the whole process, not to have a Federal Reserve. We literally resisted the Federal Reserve. Andrew Johnson is quoted by saying, if we do this, Andrew Jackson, not Johnson. Andrew Johnson is a white preacher in Denver Harbor, 5th Ward. My bad, which is a classmate of mine. Andrew Jackson genuinely said it'd be the doom of America. I'm paraphrasing. If we let the Federal Reserve in, they killed him. Look it up.
And have shot several people since to keep it.
We have Grace, Google economic hitmen. Please, for the love of God, Google economic hitmen. Antonio, no, this Google economic hitmen. There's books about it. What'd you say, Law? Look, I got that book, the one on the left, Confession of Economic Hitman. Google meaning, put economic hitman meaning, Grace. paid professionals who cheat countries around the globe out of trillions of dollars. Stop. Everything I am saying can be verified, Googled, is in books, documentaries, but not just that. It's all law, not the economic hitman though. Everything I'm telling you is a law. Money doesn't exist. Debt does. We live under a debt system. Please hear that. So I'm afraid, I got you, Phil. I'm afraid that our kindness to be someone's debt instead of generating debt for others is keeping us in poverty or middle class. Go ahead, Phil.
I just had pop up on my screen. Michael Jordan's total career earnings, his salary earnings was $94 million for his whole career.
Wow.
Lamelo,
LaMelo.
Lamelo.
Yep.
How do you pronounce his name?
LaMelo Ball.
Lamelo. For a 5-year contract, guess what he got? Michael Jordan got $94 million for his whole career. How much did Lamelo get for a 5-year contract?
It was over 200 million.
$260 million.
Yep.
Fine.
So when you're
with
talking about
Jordan's
money,
name. Because Jordan on the team LaMelo played for. He about to sell it though, but yeah. Yeah, I hear Phil. So you talking about money, it doesn't, what it is debt. We live under a debt system. I'm afraid that we are so willing to be somebody's debt, but not willing to put debt on others. Listen to the first thing I said. I said, let me share my screen. I said, let me share my screen. I'm charging companies $2 and two employees to 9 employees debt to bring it back to this list. Did I not say that, Jerome? So I'm not making this up. My argument is not getting better as I keep going. You're just hearing it better, but it ain't me. I've said it up front. I just picked 6, 7 different ways to keep reinforcing the same point. Deanna, right now you're someone's debt. But not me. I don't have a job. Are you driving on a road?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody paid taxes. You are now your city's debt. How about that? You're the debt of your local government. That's why they raise taxes, or that's why your vote doesn't count. This is a debt system. I am not telling you this is right. I'm just telling you it is written in law. You can watch, it doesn't matter to me. You can watch all 3 of, oh my God, Zeitgeist. You can watch all 3 of Zeitgeist films. Learn this, or you can't. I don't care. So back to free will. I showed you that auto suggestion thing because, to borrow from Phil, if I hit your trigger and you make a choice not to master your emotions about your auto suggestion, that is not my karma. That is yours. Free will is not choice. Free will is when you tell your auto suggestion, tell the universe to bend to me, serve me like water. Paulo Coelho writes a great book about this called The Alchemist. Is that the name of the book? I think so. The Alchemist. That literally this universe will fold like water for you. Your auto-suggestion being triggered by me unintentionally is not my karma. That is yours. When I know this is your trigger, and I am cautious with that, but I still triggered, that's not my karma. But when I know it's your trigger, Tracy, and I don't give a damn, that is my karma, because that's now my free will to violate your vibration. Anything else is just the ebb and flow of this universe. You want to be happy all day? You know how you be happy all day, Tracy? Master your negative emotions. And how do you master your negative emotions? By having them and failing to them. How you gonna master something you ain't failed at? So I end you with this. This is a debt system. Don't make money, make debt. That's actually facts. So I was going to end you with something, but what Jamal said is far more clever than what I was going to end you with. So I end you with what Jamal said now. Our job is to make debt for others. Listen to me. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me, listen to me. That makes all of us feel bad. See, this is why money is so hard. This is why, how many of you know good people? Go ahead, Rachel. If you know really good people, they never heard of fly, raise your hand if you feel like participating. Unmute your mic. Just go ahead and list this. How many of you know good people? Yes? Okay. I mean, you know, don't take the high road. Ain't no good or bad. I mean, like genuinely, you know, decent people. Okay, exactly. Okay.
Yes, I do.
Okay. How wealthy are they?
It depends.
No doubt. I was looking for that answer. I was glad you said that. I'm glad you said that, right? That's my point. Don't just write. It depends. Because being a good person, when we look at our money system, our soul goes, ooh, I don't know if I can do that. And that's what has me afraid. Because the only way to make money on this planet is to incur debt on somebody else, whether you like that or not. I didn't invent that. Whoever invented capitalism after Marxism did that. That was not me, but it's in world history. World history 2, by the way. 1600, by the way. That Grace, Google when capitalism began. It's going to be a little bit of debate, but they're going to tell you about a 15-year period. Remember, I was a college professor. Okay, go ahead, Jamal, while she's Googling this. And I promise you we end it, but this is my fear, y'all. My fear is that we don't want to put debt on people, so we crawl in our good hearts and become debt for people.
I was just about to say that. I was like, so you said inherently is that that we're good people. We think we're good people, so we don't want to slave nobody else up.
That's right.
So you said I don't want to be a slave master. So then psychologically, you know, on another level, you know, I'm not thinking about that. I don't want to do that. So you don't do it.
That's right. That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. Capitalism is so 15th century, 16th century, which means 1500, not 1600. You can stop, Grace. 1500 capitalism came out, somewhere around that. It's a little bit of debate because, you know, it's kind of hard to say 5:54 p.m. on 1992. You know, it's kind of hard to do that. When did the civil rights movement start? Well, it's kind of hard to, so we got a little era because there's some solid things that was happening. My fear is this. We don't see that Antonio has to take the air quote, because there's no such thing as taking this as an abundant universe. But I'm not having that conversation, Phil. I'm having a conversation to our fears. Here's the truth. I'm not taking from nobody. This is abundance. The same $350 that they can give me for 30 hours a week or whatever it may be, or for a project, because actually it's all about project. They owe me that. You know why they owe me that? Because I vibrate at it. And I'm not taking from them. But hear me well, because I started the conversation off. That's why I named this list, Tracy. To repost that list down. To that list that she just posted out again, Grace, read those names. I'm never, ever, ever going to be a good man to the capability that they see in me until I take from somebody else and give to them. Nothing you can tell me about that. Nothing you can tell me about that.
Mhm.
Read those names.
Melissa, Law, Jerome, Phil and Susan, Grace, Deanna, Adonia.
I got no choice but to go in somebody else's garden, grab their fruit that I vibrate at, and say, here, this is, boom, you paid back now, but now we gotta go get what you're worth. Did you hear what I said? I didn't say, here, this is yours. That ain't what I said. Here's this, you pay back. Let's go get some more. Let's go double that. I'm not satisfied until it's double. They can't say how good I have been in their lives until I win. That's what I'm afraid of, that you're not willing to do whatever it takes to win. I didn't say be mean. I didn't say be manipulative. That's why I don't have a problem with that word. That's not my argument. My argument was different. I said that from the jump. My argument is the same thing we don't want to do to people, I got to go do to somebody. And if I don't do it, Adonia can never brag about how good I was in her life. See, that's the hard part, Tracy. That you go to church every Sunday. Thank you, God. But until you give to that church, ain't no God that you can thank in that building. Y'all didn't like that? Stop giving. See what happened. Stop giving your church. Let everybody else stop giving the church and see how long it stay open. That light bill don't care nothing about that your pastor praised the Lord. What we gonna need is $10,433.23. I won't be no more praising the Lord. How about that? And that's me on the low end of y'all church bills. I'm on the low end. I can't imagine what Lakewood light bill is. I can't even imagine. They paid $1 million a month in lights. A day, probably. I have no idea.
To cut the lights on.
That's to cut the lights on. You know, you can't turn the AC off, Phil, at Lakewood. It take too long to cool down the buildings. It take too long. Who want to worship hot? No, I want to get hot while worshiping. I don't want to worship hot. Those are two different things. I want to praise myself into a sweat. I don't want to go in sweat. This is not 1922. We wouldn't even have no population in the South if it wasn't for air conditioning. This would still be the Wild Wild West. Few people, dirt roads. Thank God for AC. I got to end. It is paramount that we find a way, and it's easy to do it. It's real easy, but we need to find a way to stop making it so difficult. The easy way is respect the laws of money, respect the laws of people. Honor people, you honor God. That's the easy way. But Tracy, even your church is putting you in debt. They don't like that, Jerome. But the economic job, there's only two. Y'all not gonna like this. Y'all not gonna like this. There's only two, economically, there's only two entities that sit in the neighborhood, siphon the resources of the neighborhood, and never give back. The casino and the church. That economically, the church and the casino operate in the same economic standard. Economically, that's not opinionated. Economic, I dare y'all go to the church and ask to support your speaking engagement. Hey, church, I know y'all don't know me. I got 10 tickets I need to sell. Can I put my flyers in here? Come on. Oh, y'all, I'm making some sense now. Can you go into the casino? Can I put my flyers in here? But you can go to the barbershop and say, can I put my flyers in here? You can go to the Arabic guy to own the gas station and say, can I put my flyers up in here? Oh, you didn't like that, huh? economically. Actually, I add a third one. The convenience store is the same way. The convenience store, you show it right. I thought about it as I said, the convenience store is the same way. They never get back to the neighborhood. That's the store you go to that has no public restroom. That's a convenience store, not a corner, not a corner store. Those are two different things. Well, not the gas station. If they got the public restrooms, that's different. They paying $22 an hour. The corner store, the convenience store, they ain't even got no public restroom. They just siphoning neighborhood. If they in a Hispanic environment, they sell apple soda. Y'all seen them? If they in a Black environment, they sell grape soda. Y'all seen it? We seen it, right? You seen it. They got the apple soul drinks. You know what I'm talking about? We seen it. It just depends on where you stop in to get gas. You see it. They cater the environment to take from it. And they got tuna and hot sauce on one shelf. Go ahead, Phil.
Rolling papers.
Oh man, rolling papers. They do. Where you gonna get your rolling papers from? Your cigars from? They take from that neighborhood. So to end this, and I know it got uncomfortable, but remember, you wasn't offended. If you got uncomfortable, you didn't offend nobody. You ain't do nothing wrong. And if you still here, good job for you. That meant you didn't like what you was hearing, and you said, "Shut up, little me. We gonna hear this man out." That's called mastering your emotions. Congratulations. God has something good for you today. Anybody who got mad and left, that's their karma. But anybody here, you have no negative karma for your situation, for your feelings. Do not feel bad. Don't do nothing. Walk out of here and expect that, you know what? I handle that. And the universe is going to fold like water and say, "Here, Tracy, since you handle that, here's a call you didn't expect, got some money in it." Now, I'm going to say two things before I go. Thing number one is the toughest. You better be glad all I ask for is the occasional $20, $30, $40 for inmates. Because not only am I charging, Phil just flat-footedly stood on the one at Antonio Smith. You need to be charging more. Phil agrees that I should be charging. Y'all hear me? Be charging more. So I'm keeping my word with you, but I'm not stupid either, Jerome. If I struggle, that list struggle. Somebody got to make sure we don't struggle. I done already took from Adonia. Now it's time to receive. Was that too real? Because I feel like I be spitting some facts. Somebody owe us money. They do. Somebody owe us money. Somebody paying off Adonia credit cards. Somebody getting Adonia a rent house. Somebody. Somebody paying for her broker license in California. Somebody making sure that she get to retire. Somebody is making her job her first client, and it ain't gonna be her, and it ain't gonna be me. It might flow through me, but it won't be me. Is that wrong, Jamal? Hey, I didn't invent capitalism, which is my second point. I'm afraid that we're so nice, we rather be slaves than to put debt on people. It is not my free will that when I incur a debt for you, not y'all, but you out there, that you can't pay it back. That's your free will. I get no karma for you not being able to not pay me. Excuse me, not pay them, but you're going to pay me. Don't believe me? Phil and Susan are the nicest people on planet Earth. I dare y'all to get them to come to your event. They need half their money up front, if not all. They love you. They just don't trust you to sell out your event. And they not about to put they quinoa and tomatoes online for you. I was going to say chicken and beans, but there's no chicken on Susan's grill. There's no chicken. I was going to say chicken and beans. Quinoa and tomato sounds more that, and it ain't too many tomatoes because, you know, even though it's 95% water, it could get a little acidic. Susan watches that kind of stuff. You understand? Susan don't play no games. She don't play no games. That's basically it. Am I right? Of course I'm not right. Infinity is too big for anybody to be right. Tracy, you will make it. You just got to find which infinity is going to fold to you. Because right now it is folding to you. Right now, we need $35 more to get to the 85 or whatever we said. It's not a problem. Either the inmates are not vibrating at their frequency, or I am not. That is not your fault. I'm trying to see if I made myself clear. So do not feel bad. It ain't your job to feel bad, to give to people you ain't never seen. How you know I ain't going to Chicken Plus and eating your money? Chicken Plus is a restaurant down here. Obviously, they serve chicken, Phil. You don't know, even though I'm transparent with it, but you get the point. Then respect the fact, Deanna, it ain't your time to give. Some of y'all can't give. And some of y'all, like Adonia, myself, shit, we tired of giving. But even we got to be careful with that. Y'all don't want to hear me. Be tired of giving intelligently, and the universe will serve you because you're saying, I'm waiting on my return. Be tired of giving with incorrect motives. Then universe gonna punch Antonio in the throat. Y'all get it? No, that's fair. That's fair. If Antonio is tired of giving because no, you didn't buy me heels when I wanted, I don't wear heels. We get the point. I'm trying to make up some asinine scenario that nobody would ever believe and don't even ever do to me because I'm not trying to speak over her. Then that's on me. Y'all hear me? That's on me. That's on me. Don't be too kind. I think we're going to have to, after I do disciples, I think we're going to have to, I think it would be wise for me to shift this call for 4 to 5 weeks to address this issue, to make you feel comfortable putting debt on people. In a God-approved way that leads you no negative harvest. Can you write that down for me, Grace? I think that's important. Because we say charge our worth, but the truth is, and I got a whole video about this somewhere buried in Facebook, that I feel bad for charging full price. It wasn't until I learned that money is oxygen and I needed to breathe on this capitalistic society to where I start overriding that feeling. I feel bad. I feel bad. But don't get it twisted. Some of y'all bought my titles for $100. That was way too cheap. I was just trying to be a blessing. And these folks,
some of them too.
these folks get these chapters. They hot fire. Don't get it twisted. They are classics. They are classics. Go ahead, Deanna. You want to say something?
Well, first, I've read some of the chapters to some of the books, and damn, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't play no game.
And then the second one is, after you finish breaking down to us what you're going to break down in regards to the debt, can you also teach us, go extensively into the lead magnets in that same energy, because once we learn
Yeah.
our sabotager is going to kick back up. So if we can create lead magnets that don't have the little voice in our head saying, don't do that, don't do that, don't charge that much, that's too, like if we can, create lead magnets that we say, okay, this is set, I'm just going to schedule this and I'm going to leave it. If you could help us with that, because
Yeah, you can put it all in one.
like,
Yeah, you can put it all in that one story. If you could do that, Grace, because that prospecting, that lead generation falls up in there. If you can do that,
Okay.
that'd be great.
hours. And then, because once upon a time, you taught us how to do it for our avatars. Now, can you help us do it for the four types of customers, like the seekers, the believers, the workers, disciples? Because when we did it for our avatars, they look different because we had our female avatar and our male avatar. But now we're looking at 8 different types of lead magnets, because we have our seekers, male, female. We have our believers, male, female. So if you can help us with that.
Yeah, got you. We'll definitely do that. Somebody, I got you. We'll do that. We'll start that tomorrow. In Disciples Talk, somebody just gave, and I have no idea who, because I didn't realize my modem was blinking. So apparently my computer connected to another modem instantly, because it's 2. It's a long story. This house is a little bit bigger than what it looks like on camera. And I have no idea who gave, but thank you. But it was, so that was 30. So I think $25 left. You don't have to give it. We're just telling you. Oh, okay. They just told me who. They just told me. Oh no, was that $25? I have no idea. I lost the math, y'all. It was 25, 25, and 30. What's that, Grace? 25, 25, and 30.
80.
All right. So then you're $5 short. Okay. I'm tripping. My bad. I was totally off with the numbers. Excuse me. It wasn't on purpose. I'm not in math mode. I'm in words mode. I'm in words mode. That's it. I keep saying we're going to end, and I want to be respectful to that, so you can appreciate it. Thank you. And then we'll get this right over. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the restroom first. I'm not going to lie to you. And then we'll run that right on over. Okay, you understand? We're just going to keep it. I mean, you keep it real, Jerome. You understand? Keep it
wanted to
real.
make sure you do. Today's Wednesday, not Thursday. I heard you say we was going over something tonight. I was like, wait.
Girl, today is Wednesday?
Today's
Yeah,
Wednesday.
Thursday.
Today's not Thursday. Yeah.
It's not Thursday.
Okay.
I know that's a good thing, right? Like, it's not as far in the week as you thought it was.
No. Thank God for not having no jobs. I want to go get this money, so I can go give it with my friends. I need you to have the same attitude. I got myself split up. Somebody's working on the registration page for Rhino Leg right now. I'm paying that person. See, I'm paying him to live our dreams while I'm taking from somebody else to live their dreams. But there is no taking. This world is abundance. All money comes from blessed people. And I promise you, Chef Jay, this is the last thing I'm going to say. Somebody taught me this. I'll never forget it. So I'm going to teach it to you. It was actually Dr. Claude Anderson who said this in a keynote in a church. I just happened to watch it. He said this, and I'll never forget it. He said, please, Black people, if you keep messing up your money, just stop spending it. Just give it to me. I know what to do with it a lot better than you. I can help us, because you clearly are hurting us. I'll never forget that lesson. Well, let's take it out of Black people, because he was talking to a Black audience. Please, for the love of God, if you don't know what to do with your money, give it to Phil and Susan. They know what to do with it. They would do a far better job than you. So just get some Kenosha, give it to them, and you will be fine, because you are messing this thing up. They know exactly how to invest your money, since you don't know how. Antonio T. Smith Jr., you can't play better. You can't die for days. Love you.
Wait a minute.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
have a question.
Y'all
in
can
that
go.
case.
If you gotta go, you can go. I'll just take a question. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you so much.
No,
Thank
you
you so
good.
much.
I'll stay.
Peasant I am not, but child of God I am. I come to you with that grace and gratefulness. So you said what just blew my mind. Okay, so when you feel like that
Yeah.
and you know that you are learning and or mastering how to be better with your money, right? But
Mhm.
you want to give it to someone or put it where someone else can do better, right?
Right.
So what if they are willing to accept that? However, the way they accept it curses your link of what you give.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. That is their karma, not yours.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not the only seed sower, so you can't
Okay.
be. You know what I'm saying? Like they get the right. Tracy gets the right to plant her seeds however she desires. That has nothing to do with you. As long as you do your job the way you want to do your job with the spirit of doing your job, you are
Okay.
blessed and highly favored. What I do with your seeds and your gifts, that's now between me and the Lord.
Thank
but,
you.
but as
Thank
for
you
you
so
in
much.
your house,
Yeah.
okay then.
Because I think a lot of what I give only because there was a time where I didn't think that that was important to give with the manner of planting in a better aspect for self. Does that make sense? Did I say that?
It does. No, it makes plenty of sense.
Okay.
What you're doing is you learn how to love yourself, and you've learned how to love yourself. Now you're just getting better at learning how to love yourself. That's what you're doing. So you can see the contrast between what you do now and what you used to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. We stay on these calls for 2 hours, sometimes 2.5, because we love ourselves. Because we recognize that we're not gonna have no conversation that actually helps us today outside of this conversation. Now we're gonna have other conversations, but we're gonna say until you doing this, you can't be in my life. I'd rather drink coffee than have a conversation about money that makes me lose it. I'm just not gonna do that. I'm just not gonna do it. So I completely understand what you're saying. Y'all just love you. Take her question for what it was. It was a great question. Do not be so kind that you only stick yourself in somebody else's debt. We have to get debt from others, or we're just not going to win. All right, y'all have a good one. Enjoy yourselves. Love yourselves. We will match this, and then I think we $5 shows, 20, 25, $5, whatever it is. Good job, y'all. Love you, everybody.
Love you more.
All right, everybody.
Love you more.
Love you more. Have a good day.